Hello YouTube. This week I've got the keys to a 2018 Honda Fit Sport. Let's take a look. So 2018 Honda Fit, this is a sport model. So it's kind of the second one in the range, kind of like the mid trim. This one, it looks pretty good. It's got that red trim down on the bottom there of the front spoiler and the black rims on the white car. I think it looks pretty cool. It's a jelly bean kind of look, but way better than the first generation. They've really stepped it up now. It kind of looks a little bit sporty. Somebody actually asked me if it was an SI, Civic Si or something, because it kind of looks sporty like that. It's got a rear diffuser. I'm not sure how real it is, but it's a rear diffuser looking thing anyways. And it looks pretty good. The only thing is, it's a little bit pricey for what you get. $22,000 Canadian for this thing, and it doesn't have that many features in it. You do have a big hatch, and it's a Fit because they've got these crazy seats, and that I'll show you in a second. So you've got, quite a bit of room here, and you do have a spare tire as well, so there's a ton of room back here. And if you take that out, if you really need some cargo space, we'll pull this off. Come on, pull these off here, and flip down the seats, and you can kind of see all the space that you actually do get. Come on, really jammed in there. There we go. Put that there for now. And if we fold these seats down, so you get a flat floor. It's kind of it's a 60-40, I guess, but it almost 50-50. Yeah, it's 60-40, but it's almost 50-50 because it's so narrow. So you've got a huge flat floor for cargo there. So you can fit a ton of stuff in here, because we'll go back here, you just see the size of the hatch opening. It's really, really big, actually. So you're in here, you've got this flat floor. You pull these seats up, and these come up as well. There you go. And now you've got even more space, and you can kind of stand in here, right? That's really the party trick with the Fit. So now in the back seats here, now that I kind of flipped them back up, pretty easy to do that. But look at this. So this is in my driving position. I'm about 5'8", so yeah, it's a little bit far forward, but tons of room for driving, and tons of legroom in the back. Like this car really has a ton of space. Not so much shoulder space. It's not very long. I can reach the other side, just leaning a little bit. But this is massive for a small car. So Honda has really put a lot of thought in the engineering and how they kind of place things in this car to get a ton of space in it. And like the back, you saw tons of space in the back. Red stitching you can see here on the seats, and even on this part here, hopefully the camera picks that up, it's all kind of red stitching. It looks really, really good. No sunroof on this model. It is a manual transmission, as you can see. Red leather red stitching on black leather. And red stitching here and red stitching everywhere, so it does look really good. Aluminum pedals would have been a nice touch. And the dash is it's pretty basic, but it does the trick. And let's move up to the front and take a look at the features we've got up there. So not a ton of features in here, as I mentioned. What you get is Honda quality. You get a ton of space in a small car, and you get a fun to drive factor. Pretty fuel efficient, of course, averaging 6.4 liters per 100 kilometers. It's a 1.5 liter 4-cylinder engine, small little engine. This one has a 6-speed manual transmission, and you can also get it with a CVT transmission. And the CVT transmission will actually rev lower RPMs on the highway. This one here at 120, you're at like 3,500 RPM, so it gets a little bit buzzy. It's kind of my only real complaint with the car. It used to be very noisy inside this car. They've toned that down quite a bit from before. It's not quietest car in the world, of course, but it's pretty good in terms of that. no automatic climate control, so you've got your manual climate control. You do have air conditioning. Haven't seen this in a while. You've got your fresh air or recirc on a flip, like a manual lever, not a button. It does have rear defrost and heated mirrors in Canada at least. A couple cup holders down here, and you've got a USB outlet and a 12-volt power outlet down there as well. You've also got heated seats, which is that is one nice feature. I do like that. And you've got this armrest with another USB and another power outlet in it, so that is nice to have. Of course, the Fit is available with a ton more features. You can see here it is available with powered keyless start-stop, or keyless ignition, I guess, and it's available with a bunch of other features as well. So no automatic headlights, you have to turn the switch. No automatic wipers, you have to turn the switch. It's got a rear wiper, of course, because it's a hatchback. They've added that volume knob, so they're doing it to every model now after everybody complained of no volume knob on their stereos. So they've added the volume knob. This is your Honda system. Some people like it, some people don't. I'm kind of indifferent. It's a little bit slow, as you can see there. It's not the fastest thing in the world. This one's pretty good because it doesn't have the nav and that, so you're not playing with it much. So I guess it's good in the fact that it doesn't have many features, so you're not really using it much. Kind of funny to say, but it is what it is. In the dash here, nice and center, big speedo, and a little tack on the left hand side there. Fuel gauge and temperature, as well as a clock and your trip information. Everything's there. This is old school kind of. You got a button to flip through them up here, and so you oil life monitor and your trip, and you can and your range and that, and you can flip through those and you can reset them by holding that button. On the left, you've got this nifty cup holder here, so you've got the two in the center, and then you've got another one here on the left. You've got auto down, auto up, driver's window, and then these are not auto, but they're powered for all the other windows. So on the steering wheel, you've got your Bluetooth and cruise control, which is nice to have, and your volume controls and source for your radio and that. And of course, I keep saying it doesn't have that many features, but you've got cruise, you've got air conditioning, and you've got power windows, so that may be enough for a lot of people. That's pretty much it. The interior, like I said, is pretty Spartan. No automatic mirror, just your manual flip, no sunroof, no sunglasses holder. You do have reading lights. You do have a mirror, but no light on the mirror for the passenger. Driver, also no light, so pretty basic. This armrest, hard as a rock, zero give to it. That is a big complaint of mine. They could have put a little bit of padding, at least in the armrest. I mean, up here it doesn't matter, but at least in the armrest, something. Ow, it really hurts. At least there's an armrest. This has got a tiny bit of padding down here, but that's about it. So let's take it for a quick little drive and kind of go over how it feels on the road. So it's a pretty small engine at 1.5 liter, 130 horsepower. As you can tell, it makes quite a bit of noise. That's nowhere near red line, and you have to kind of do that to get this thing moving. I think 0 to 60 is probably around 9.5 to 10 seconds. So that's red line. And there's this weird rattly sound that's coming from the bottom that I've never heard before. And it did just rain yesterday, so maybe there's some water trapped underneath there. So a little bit noisy when you're accelerating around town. Of course, you don't have to pin it all the time, but when you're getting on the highway, you're going to be pinning it because it's the only way you're going to get up to speed on time on the on-ramps, especially in kind of city limits, which most of the people driving these cars, I think, most of them are kind of buying it for city driving. So I really, over the week kind of grew on me, this car. At first I was like, well, I just came from a Kia Stinger, big sedan, long wheelbase, nice ride, tons of power, and then I thought, oh god, I'm driving a Honda Fit. But kind of grew on me over the week, It is really fun to drive, maybe more fun to drive than the Stinger, because you can carry a ton of speed through corners and it feels like you're really flying even though you're not. And then, you kind of ring it out with the gearbox. Driving the CVT would make this really boring, but it rides really, really well. It rides really, really good over rough pavement, potholes. We got tons of potholes and bad roads around here, and it rides really, really well. I was quite surprised. Picked it up in Quebec, and the roads there are really bad. And I was like, wow, this thing is actually, I could barely feel the bumps. Like, this road's really bad here, and I'm just taking it down here because I wanted to kind of get this on video. And like, you go over them, you barely even hear them. Like, they really did a good job on sound deadening now on this car, and they did a really, really good job on the suspension. It's pretty darn sweet, actually. And my only concern was after, I was kind of getting used to the car, kind of thinking, just a nice little car, averaging 6.4, 6.5 liters per 100 kilometers for the week. I've put nearly 300 kilometers. Let me check here. I've put, I think it's over 300 kilometers. Yeah. 254 kilometers this week, and I've used half a tank. So I'm going to get 500 kilometers on this tank, and it says 300 left. So I'll easily get 500 kilometers on this tank, and it's a small tank, like 40 liters. I'm going to get, like, if it's drained, you'll get like 37, 38 liters in there. So really, really cheap on gas. And it's kind of fun to drive. But then I was kind of bummed when I looked up the price, and I was like, it was like $21,300 and some dollars, plus like freight and PDI, plus taxes. Like, you're almost 25 grand after taxes, probably 24-ish. And for 24 grand, I'd probably end up picking up a different car. There you have it. That's the 2018 Honda Fit Sport. Notice on the outside with the engine running, it's quite ticky. So let's see, makes quite a bit of noise for a small engine. Now, you don't hear that at all inside the car, of course, but you hear it revving. 22,000 about, plus taxes for this car. I'll give it that it has a ton of space. It's super fun to drive. And I guess, but for me, I'd probably buy a used car if I'm honest. But if I'm looking for a new car for 25, I guess it really depends what you're looking for. You're looking for a small car, this thing will probably fit the bill. If you're looking for a sedan, you can probably pick one up as well for 25 grand. So it's playing in a price point where people are shopping various cars at that point. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe to my channel.